Good morning. Today is Sunday, the 19th day of Teves, and we continue in chapter 13 of the Tanya. And in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe continues to explain the different aspects of the Beinoni, the intermediate, which is the hero of the Tanya, the person that is not a tzaddik, and is not a rasha, and he is one who is full control. He has full control over his thoughts, speech, and action. However, the topic today in today's lesson is don't let your guard down. Sometimes you think you already won the battle. You won the war, and you don't realize that there's some terrorist hiding underneath the ground, and they're dormant, they're waiting for an opportunity. The Beinoni, a person who is in full control over his thought, speech, and action, and during the davening, he may feel also in his understanding and his feeling, in his heart, only godly things, godly feelings. He may think he may mistakenly think that he's already won the war, and there's no longer Yetzer Hara there. He's no longer evil inclination because he doesn't feel any temptation. And here the Alter Rebbe says that you should know your enemy, realize that he may be sleeping, but he's still there. So to review a little bit of yesterday's class, because yesterday was Shabbos. So in yesterday's class, the Alter Rebbe addressed questions that he asked in the very first chapter of Tanya. One of the questions was that it says that one should consider, even if the whole world tells you that you're a tzaddik, you should consider yourself like a rasha, like a wicked person. And here, the Alter Rebbe says that, what does that mean? As we'll soon see. Well, the question was, how could one consider himself like a wicked person? If you consider yourself wicked, then you're not going to be able to serve Hashem with joy if you think you're wicked. And on the other end, if it doesn't bother you that the fact that you're wicked, that's even worse, because you become careless about violating God's commandments. So this is one thing that Alter Rebbe explains over here in this chapter, that it means. It doesn't say you should consider yourself wicked. It says kerosha, like a wicked, meaning that you should consider yourself like someone who has the potential to sin, who did not eliminate his evil inclination. And Alter Rebbe also explained in yesterday's lesson what it says in the Talmud, that Beinonim ze veze shoiftam, that the intermediate person is judged by both the evil inclination and the godly inclination. And he explained the choice of the words, that he's judged. He has two judges. It doesn't say that they both rule, but because the Beinoni is never ruled by the evil inclination, meaning that he's never acting. Never does he act, or never does he think or speak in a bad way. He doesn't give in to the evil inclination. However, he's judged by them. What does it mean, judged? So just like a picture in a court where the judges make a decision. So you have Each judge says his opinion, and then there is an arbitrator that comes and makes the decision. It goes by the majority, or whatever it is. So the same thing here. It says the judge. Each one is like a judge. The animal soul, the nefesh habahamis, the yetzer hara, the evil inclination, he's like a judge. Gives an opinion to the person. Tells them, oh, go ahead, do this. This looks good. This tastes good. This feels good. All of the desires of these worldly things. But immediately, he doesn't listen to this judge because there's another judge that comes and says an opposing opinion. Comes the godly soul and says, what are you talking about? This is absolutely wrong. However, being that you live in a very physical world, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to follow the godly soul, because the godly soul, after all, is not something that you see in front of your eyes. However, this is where God comes and he helps him along. So number one, God gave us the ability by nature that our mind should rule over our heart. By nature, it's like that. If you put yourself, becomes subjectively thinking, and you think what the Yetzer Tov wants, what does God want? So this is where Hashem gave us the ability to control our decisions and to follow the right thing. In addition, there is also here the benefit that this is the light over the darkness. In other words, in addition to the fact that you can control your mind, your emotions with your mind, there is also a benefit of, but when you put the two things, the godly things and the evil things, what the evil side wants to do, you're talking about darkness and light. So the light has much more power than darkness, meaning that as soon as you bring in some light, the darkness goes away by itself. The same thing here, when you connect with your inner self, which is your godly neshama, this is where you bring in the light of truth. This will eliminate the other side. It will remove the dark side. So this is what the Alter Rebbe said until now. And the Alter Rebbe continues today, even with the person, something in Beinani, you have different levels of Beinanis. You have a Beinani, an intermediate person, that is working all day. His business, he's doing other things. So we said that during the davening, during the prayer, he feels it. He feels the godly side. But then after prayer, he's back fighting the war. Because the Yetzer Hara, is in this world and he sees things. And here, the Alter Rebbe says that he has to know that the Yetzer Hara will always be there. And the Alter Rebbe continues in today's lesson saying that even if it's a Beinani who is in a higher level, or even if it's a Beinani that his business is studying Torah all day and all night, constantly being occupied with study of the Torah, still, says the Alter Rebbe, do not let your guards down. Don't think that since you're studying Torah all day and you're praying all day and you're not involved in, and you don't even feel a desire to do bad things, don't think that the Yetzer Hara is gone, but you should keep your guards up. So let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Af mishet b'toiras Hashem cheftzei, ve'yehege bo yomim v'layla lishma." And even if one a person that is in entire aspiration is in God's Torah, and he studies day and night the Torah, lishma, for its own sake, for the sake of God. Ein zu oichocha klal shenitcha ara mimekoimei. It is still no proof whatsoever that the evil has been removed from its place. Ella, but yochel liyos shemehusoi ve'atzmusoi ubetokfoi ubegvurosoi bimekoimei bechalal asmoni. It is very possible, perhaps, that the very essence and the substance of the evil inclination is in its full strength, in its place, in the left side of the heart. Rak shelevushov sheimachshava dibur u'maise shenefesh habahamis eino mislapshim bemoyach ve'apeh va'yodayim u'sha'ari v'raguf. Except that the garments of the animal soul, meaning the thoughts, the speech, and the action of the animal soul, they are not clothed in the brain and in the mouth and in the hands and other parts of the body to act upon the evil side's desires. Why? Because God has granted the mind supremacy and dominion over the heart. So that's the nature that God gave us, the gift that God gave us to give us this nature, that the mind rules over the heart. Velochein nefesh elekis shebemoyach moisheles ba'ir ketana evrei aguf kulam. And therefore, he says the divine soul, which is in the mind, it rules over the small city, which is the body, and all of the parts of the body. Shehiyu levush u'merkava, that the entire body should become as a garment and as a vehicle to the three garments, l'shloisha levusha, the thought, speech, and action of the Torah, she'islapshu behem sheheim, which is machshava dibur u'maise shel tayag mitzvahs haTorah. This, the thought, speech, and action of the 613 commandments, by him is in full control. However, he did not change the very essence of the God, of the animal soul. Aval mehusa ve'atzmusa shel nefesh elekis ein lo shlita u'memshala al mehusa ve'atzmusa shel nefesh habahamis bebeinani. The very essence and substance of the divine soul does not rule, does not have predominance and rule over the very essence and substance of the animal soul by a Beinani, by an intermediate person, except for certain times. Ki'im, what are the certain times? The shah she'avas Hashem will be izgalus libay. Certain times, the love of God is open, revealed in the heart of the Beinani. Ve'itim mezumanim, and very propitious occasions. For example, k'moy b'shas atfila v'kayetzeba, like during the time of prayer, or similar times. What is similar times? Perhaps maybe when you sit in your fabreng and you're involved in spirituality, in good things. So certain times, you feel love to Hashem, and then when you have the love to Hashem, like it says in the Chayves Alavavais, it says there is in the heart can, just like fire and water cannot be in the same time. The same thing is your heart cannot feel love to godly things and ungodly things at the same time. There's only room for one place, for one thing to love only one thing. You cannot love two opposite things at the same time. So that is why during the prayer, when the person davens and prays, but he davens with all over the proper way of meditating and developing a feelings towards Hashem, so then the other side is not in control. So the good side rules. However, even then, when the good side, when the godly side rules, but it says, it is limited to predominance and dominion alone, meaning it's only ruling. It's not transforming. It's not taking over. It's not eliminating completely. Like it says in the verse, it says, nation from nation, nation shall prevail over the other. One nation shall prevail over the other. What is this verse? This verse is talking about when Rivka had the twins. She was pregnant with Yaakov and Esau, and she was confused. She didn't know what was happening. When she passed by a place of Torah, a holy place, she felt the baby coming out, wanted to come out. And when she passed by a place of idol worship, she felt the same thing, and she was confused. And she went to inquire about it by the prophet, and he told her that don't worry, you have two different people. You have two nations will come out from you. And this represents the two nations, Yaakov and Esau, represents the good side and the evil side. And here he told her that that the nation will prevail over another. Keshazeh come. And as Rashi explains, the Keshazeh comes and Neifel. When this one gets up, the other one falls. And when the other one gets up, etc. Chulu. Keshazeh come chulu. When the other one gets up, then the other one falls. Meaning, when the godly soul gets up, the other side falls down. Just like in a city, you cannot have two rulers in the same time in the city. The two kings fighting over control of the city. So there's only one at a time that is controlling it. So here too, when the godly soul gets up, the animal soul falls down. And when the animal soul gets up, the Alter Rebbe says, etc. He doesn't end up because he doesn't want to say that the godly soul falls. And also the point that he wants to bring out here is that even when the godly soul gets up and the animal soul falls, it does not mean that the animal soul cannot rise again, because you did not eliminate the animal soul completely. That is why it says, Keshazeh come, when the other side can also get up. That's why you need to be on guard. You have to have your guards up. And that's what it says. It continues. Shenefesh olikis misametzes umisgaberes al nefesh aba'amis. When the godly soul gains strength and it becomes stronger over the animal soul, the moker agvuros shehibina. In the source of strength, the source of gevuras, which is the level of bina, the wisdom. Because the wisdom, understanding, the God, when you meditate about something, this creates emotions, and the emotion becomes a very strong emotion. And this is when the divine soul gains strength over the animal soul during prayer. How? Pondering on the greatness of Hashem, the blessed Ein Sof, and thereby giving birth to intense and flaming love, like flames of fire, in the right side of his heart. And then iskafia sitra achra shebachalal asmali. Then the sitra achra in the left side of the heart is subjugated. But when we're saying subjugated, however, but it didn't completely, entirely abolished the evil side. Elo betzadik, except by a tzaddik. A tzaddik, he's the one who already eliminated the evil side. He has no longer the evil side in him. Shenema boy, that it says by a tzaddik, velibi cholal bekirbi. It says, my heart is void in me, within me. because the tzaddik eliminated the left side of his heart. Still has the physical heart, of course. But he eliminated the evil side, the evil desire, the urges that the tzaddik eliminated, and it became void within him. V'hu moyes bera, and the tzaddik, he despises and loathes the evil. V'soine b'tachlis hasina, and he hates it with a total hatred, the absolute hatred. Ve'amius, and despises. This is talking about a complete tzaddik. We learned in the earlier chapters there's a complete tzaddik and there's an incomplete tzaddik. The complete tzaddik already transformed the evil into good, and therefore he has complete hatred to anything which is against God. Or the incomplete tzaddik, which eliminated the evil, but it didn't transform it yet. So he does have also a feeling of despising to the evil, but it's not a complete. It's not a complete ultimate hatred, utter hatred. Let's mention above. So this is all true by the tzaddik. Aval bebeinani. But when talking about the beinani, the intermediate person, it could be a beinani that it could be a week long or a month long, is going to be praying and davening and feeling only godly things and not having a single desire to do anything bad, but it still does not mean that the evil was eliminated. How it could be perhaps that the evil is dormant, it's sleeping. It's like a person, a sleeping man, for example. He can be awakened from his sleep. The same thing is the evil in the Beinani. It's dormant. It's like you're sleeping in the left part of the heart. When b'shas kriya shema v'tfila sheli boya be'avas Hashem. During the prayer of Shema, during the prayer, when his heart is filled, is burning with love to Hashem, obviously then the evil is asleep, is not acting. But later, after the prayer, he can be reawakened. And here, the Alter Rebbe goes back to one of the things he mentioned in the very first chapter of Tanya, about the great sage Rabbah, was the sage of his generation. And he said to his students that he's not a tzaddik, he's only a beinani. His students later proved to him that he's wrong, that he's really a tzaddik, because otherwise everybody else would be wicked. And he's a tzaddik. But the question was, how could he make the mistake thinking that he's a beinani? And that this Alter Rebbe explains here, he was thinking that he's a beinani because even though he knew that he has no desire whatsoever to do bad, but still he kept his guards up. He thought, maybe I'm still a beinani. I have somewhere dormant the evil, but I'm just like a beinani who prays all day long, and for a whole week, and for a whole month, and for a whole year. I'm constantly in connecting with Hashem, constantly meditating about the greatness of Hashem. So I developed the feeling in my heart and mind, but it doesn't mean that I'm a tzaddik. That's why he made this mistake, thinking that he's a beinani. That's what Alter Rebbe says. This is the reason why Rabbah considered himself as a beinani, even though his mouth never ceased from Torah study. So the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, couldn't take his life because he was constantly studying Torah. When a person constantly studies Torah, the angel of death does not have control over you. And his desire was studying the Torah of God day and night, with a craving, desire, and longing. V'nefesh keika, and his soul was yearning to Hashem, LaHashem be'av rabba, with a great love, kabishas kriya shema v'tfilah, just like when you say Shema and the davening. V'nidme be'einov. V'nidme be'einov. It is therefore possible for him, it was considered as if he is kebeinani amispalel kol hayoim. He felt perhaps he was like a beinani who prays all day long. And as our sages of blessed memory said, halavai sheispalel adam kol hayom kulay. It would be good, it would be great, our sages tell us, that a man pray the whole day long. It would be the ideal thing that we all pray all day long. Of course, we have business to go to, we have things to do, and we study Torah, we do other things. But the point here is to pray all day long, meaning we should be in that state of mind of connecting to Hashem with a feeling of love to Hashem, just like when you pray. This is the end of today's shir. Thank you very much for joining, and make sure, share this with other Yidden, with your fellow, and share, subscribe, and like, and we'll see you tomorrow, God willing, 9 o'clock. Any questions? We can ask now.